How you doing? You scratching your tails? Good evening, everyone, on a Sunday evening, and I won't be long because I know everyone wants to tune into the greatest of all content creators and crazy people, Salty Cracker, which I'll be watching myself. If you did not hear about this, and I'm going to present 4 reasons why this could be very suspicious. That looks like an ad popped up. Let me go there so you can see this. Close this ad. Okay. Obama refuses to endorse radical New York City mayoral frontrunner Mamdani, even after publicly backing this previous mayor. So there's 4 reasons why. Let's just cut this, stop sharing this, because my computer's very slow, or my little Chromebook is very slow tonight. Let's see. Leave site, cancel. Okay. Alrighty. There's 4 reasons. Let's think about this. Why Obama may not be, or the reason why he may not be supporting Mamdani. Is it Mamdani or Mandani? I forget already. Okay. It's not Italian. That's all I know, is that it's not Italian. Okay. I wrote these down. This is the last time on a slow computer I'm going to write anything down, so I can just read it to you, which I thought it would be quicker. Okay. Sorry for my voice. My asthma is not cured yet, even though going to the asthma doctor and the shot didn't help. Okay. Number 1 reason why Obama may not be backing Mamdani. Is that it? Mamdani? Okay. It will take Obama out of the top spot of the Democrat left, progressive left, because he was once the superstar. He was once the superstar of that party. And although kind of AOC is kind of the top, though she's more of a character than I think someone who is taken seriously, it would completely take Obama out of the spotlight. And you know that if he wins, Mamdani, if he wins, Zohran wins. I should say Zohran. We know that. Sounds like a character out of Ghostbusters, or what's that other movie, Big, with Tom Hanks? That machine that made him big, because he was just a kid. Zohran. Obama would be nothing, because Zohran would be the guy that would be pushing globalism and and more Sharia in the West, additional Sharia in the West, because he's part of his campaign, other than pushing communism, which seems like nobody remembers how bad communism actually is. Nobody has been taught this in school or at home, which proves that our educational system, from the bottom to the top, there isn't anybody teaching the evils of communism. No one. And how many deaths? Was the Soviet Union, we think, is 30 million, or no, is 100 million. But in China alone, it's 78 million in China alone. But those numbers aren't real. You can't really trust them. Because you really think that Russia is going to tell you exactly the number that communism killed, or China is going to tell you exactly how many the Maoist revolution killed, that we're really ever going to know the exact amount. We know that the number was revised, that whereas it's 45 million in 4 years, the first 4 years of Mao's revolution, which is revised it upwards to 78 million. So if that's in China alone, communism killed more Christians and more Jews than even the NAWZZEEES did. And of course, the NAWZZEEES didn't have enough time to do that. They were wiped out pretty quickly, and communism lasted for a lot longer. Of course, there's Pol Pot and everything in South America. They don't know these things. In these countries, people wanted to escape from. They had to build walls to keep people in. You tried to be, the reason why these countries were the best at what they did, and the best in the Olympics, and the best ballet, or if you played a particular instrument, they strove to be the best, because that way they could get out of the country, travel the world, and try to defect, try to get out. And plus, if you raise to the top, it was the only way you could have a better living and your family could have a better living. Otherwise, it's the party that took everything and killed all the landowners and all the business owners. They confiscated everything. That's what happens when he's talking about government seizure of any private property. And that's how you control the rents, is that you seize the property, you raise taxes, you make it impossible for anybody to own property or to rent property, because if you can't raise the rents and you can't pay for any of your expenses, you just leave. You lose the property. The state has a right to take your property if you're not paying your bills, especially if you're not paying taxes. They will take your property. That's a way to seize property without enacting a law. You basically say you can't control rents. You put that in place, and then that's it. It's eventually the state will take it, and it will be gradual. But I think if Zohran takes the mayoral race, what's going to happen is that it's going to be good for a while, because I think he has backing, and it seems like he's pushing Sharia more than he is pushing even communism. And if these countries that are pushing Sharia and you're wealthy and you live in one of the countries that wants to spread Sharia around the world, because that's the goal of the religion, it's right in the religion that they will take over the world. And if you haven't listened to apologists enough, them telling you that they want to do this, I'm not saying all, but certainly enough of them, even if it's 1%, and you've got money behind it, I would say that there may be money that's going to keep New York City afloat for a little while to make it look really good. And in that respect, if it looks really good, then it's going to start to spread across the country. And there's at least 3 other mayoral candidates that are trying to get elected that are also Muslim, that want to take over and want to change everything to communism. And we know that we've got a couple more communist mayors, Karen Bass, and then that one out of Chicago, I forget his name, who are doing a great job at their work. But it's spreading across the country. And if it looks good in the biggest city, if you can make it anywhere, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. New York, New York. that means you're going to take the entire country. So let's go on to number 2. The reasons why Obama did not back Zohran Mamdani, or refused to. 2, he struck a deal with Cuomo. That way, Cuomo is no longer independent, and so he kind of saw the light, kind of a little bit more a moderate, a little bit more like Fetterman. He may have struck a deal with Cuomo. So why would Obama have decided not to back Zohran, who's progressive to the hilt and wants to do everything that Obama wanted to do, and is essentially a globalist because he's pushing worldwide communism? Pushing, that's what it is. Globalism is the worldwide communism. Everything owned by the few. So, and also the push of moving Sharia into the West. Why? The most beautiful sound that Obama ever heard. It's not Maria, as they said in West Side Story, as the song goes in West Side Story, Maria, the most beautiful word I ever heard. Or song I ever heard was the song, the call to prayer when he lived in Indonesia. So there's something very similar about the two. You have to wonder why, if he's backing Zohran, you have to ask yourself, why would he want Cuomo to win? Since Cuomo is claiming not to be a rabid leftist anymore. Why would he do that? Because Cuomo would win, right? If he doesn't get back, or Obama's power. Obama has no power anymore anyway. Either way, to back anybody. He could have struck a deal with Cuomo, and Cuomo would say, all right, I'll implement some of your policies or all of the policies that the globalists want. Quite possible, because we know that the DNC, they're in bed together, though people are claiming, and unfortunately the influencers on YouTube, the big loud voices, the biggest ones, are basically claiming that Trump is a globalist, and they have become bigger than Trump. The news is them. What are they thinking? What are they doing? Is anyone suspicious that they're pulling our attention from actual news, from things that Trump is actually doing for the good? Because he's doing a lot of stuff. And they're no longer dispelling lies or reporting on truth. It's about pushing conspiracy theories and becoming more famous than the world leaders and the news, what's actually happening to people in the world in the here and now. I'm very suspicious about what's happening. And good, you people. And I'm talking about you people, anybody that listens to me, obviously. This is not a flash and trash commercial channel that backed these people and became a cult and believed these people. These people, it's like a religion. Believing these people is like believing a new religion, a new world religion. Nothing, full of nothing but lies and void of God, completely void of God, any sense of what prayer is, or God, or being a good person. Nothing. They push nothing like that. Anyway, 3, Obama wants to know what kind of power he still holds if withholding his backing of Zohran and he loses. You think Obama might be thinking to himself, if I don't back him and he loses, then I know that I still have power. Is this it? Is it power play? Or number 4, I think is the most interesting of all. He knows Zohran is going to lose, and he doesn't want to back him for that very reason. If he backs him publicly and Zohran loses, then it makes Obama look really, really bad. It looks like here's another candidate that he's backed that has lost. This way, if he doesn't back him and Zohran loses, then he knows already that he's going to lose. Then Obama can say, I didn't back you. You see, people, I didn't back you. Who still holds the power here? I do. But the inside numbers might be that he's going to lose anyway. It could be one of 4. I give you 4 reasons there. Okay. Hello there out there. Hello, Black Samurai. God bless you. Good to see you. And God bless anyone else that's out there. Let's share some insights on the what this stream is all about. But I want to start with that news and some thoughts on other things of the day. Okay, here we go. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, let's play this.
Donald Trump wasted no time mocking Bill Gates after the billionaire admitted that climate change will not lead to humanity's demise in a memo released yesterday. He wrote, although climate change will have serious consequences, particularly for people in the poorest countries, it will not lead to humanity's demise. People will be able to live and thrive in most places on Earth for the foreseeable future. He then went on to highlight the biggest problem for humanity, saying, although climate change will hurt poor people more than anyone else, for the vast majority of them, it will not be their only or even biggest threat to their lives and welfare. The biggest problems are poverty and disease, just as they always have been. Gates went on to explain his position on CNBC.
Climate is a super important problem. There's enough innovation here to avoid super bad outcomes. We won't achieve our best goal, the 1.5 or even the 2 degrees. And as we go about trying to minimize that, we have to frame it in terms of overall human welfare.
But Donald Trump was not having it. The president of the United States blasted the billionaire for his backflip on climate change via a Truth Social post that read, we just won the war on the climate change hoax. Bill Gates has finally admitted that he was completely wrong on the issue. It took courage to do so, and for that, we are all grateful. MAGA. A group who will not be happy with this news are the climate change activists. People like Greta Thunberg and her friends who have spent their lives campaigning for climate change awareness off the back of Bill Gates' alarmism. Gates became uncomfortable when quizzed about the potential pushback from activists.
When the climate activists who have been very supportive of what you've done and you've been very supportive of what they've done, read this. And if Greta Thunberg is reading this and saying to herself, my goodness, he seems like he is reversing himself, what would you tell her?
I'd say, wasn't the goal here to improve human lives?
Online commentators were livid at the backflip, with this person saying, in a stunning reversal, Bill Gates now says climate change will not lead to humanity's demise. Oh, so do we get a refund of all the obscure taxes and regulations he and his cabal foisted on us under the false banner of saving the planet? What a total con job. The backflip comes after years of demonization towards so-called climate skeptics. This commentator said, This is a huge victory. Bill Gates and the climate change alarmists are finally admitting humans will be just fine. Truth tellers were demonized for years for saying the extremism was unwarranted. But even with massive censorship, the data keeps proving that human activity isn't causing the planet to combust. The conspiracy theorists remain undefeated. And the Free Press journalist Lucy Biggers agrees.
Bill Gates has finally admitted that climate doomerism is a mistake after years of saying stuff like this.
The world emits over 51 billion tons of greenhouse gases. And as we keep doing that, the consequences for human life will be catastrophic. And time is running out.
Bill Gates now says this: climate change will not lead to humanity's demise. People will be able to live and thrive in most places on Earth for the foreseeable future. Climate realists like Judith Curry, Steve Koonin, Michael Schellenberger, Alex Epstein, Roger Pike Jr., and Bjorn Lomborg have been saying this exact thing for years: that climate change is not an existential threat, and that the singular obsession with carbon emissions has distracted us from solving real problems. But those scientists and writers were ostracized. They were censored on social media, protested, and in some cases pushed out of their jobs. They were mocked as climate deniers for saying the same thing Bill Gates is finally admitting today. I'm glad Bill Gates has come around to common sense. Yes, the planet is warming, but it's not the biggest problem we face, and it's something humans are more than capable of adapting to.
Okay. Now we should, hello there, CB. God bless you. It's good to see you again. Should take this whole thing apart. Everything. Of course, I've been saying that for years too, but nobody listened to me. The whole thing about the Earth warming, we've only been taking, formally taking temperature, the temperature of the planet, recording it for about 100 years. So we look at that and we say, oh, since industrialization, it looks like the weather is getting hotter. But we have really no idea day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, what it was before that. And plus, when you look at things like I Blame a Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, it was very easy for people in Britain to fall for this. And in fact, it came out in 2011 in leaked emails that this was all a hoax. All of these graphs were fake. And for about 8 months, the whole climate, everyone who was screaming about the climate, or then it was global warming, were quiet. It was absolutely nothing. Then it changed at that time. It changed from global warming to climate change because they found that things were colder than normal. And they said, well, anything, a warming climate could create colder than normal temperatures, more snow, when they said that we're going to get no snow, or everything was going to be a desert, and the seas were going to rise. Yet if everything dries up, what do you mean? It is hot, so how are the seas going to rise? I mean, nothing made sense, and nothing came true from that movie. Absolutely nothing. But it was because of this leak in these emails, and I thought, thank God it's over with. I remember hearing about it, and the person who was reporting on this on the news, I heard it on the radio, even they were relieved. It was over with. Now, A Christmas Carol, we had a thing called a little ice age during that time. Britain, the United Kingdom, all those countries, the Gulf Stream passes across it. So they all have very mild winters, and they also have very mild summers. The summers don't get too hot, and the winters, they don't really have snow. It's very mild, yet it doesn't really get hot enough for most people, and it's rainy most of the time. So when you look at A Christmas Carol, and when the way people were freezing, and the way Bob Cratchit was freezing, and of course he was conserving on coal because he was only given one coal to use for like 6 months. We're thinking to ourselves, oh my God, what happened? That's the way Christmas used to be. And every time Christmas came, where's the snow? Well, since the little ice age ended, it was called the mini ice age, or the little ice age ended, what happens is the earth warms slowly. It warms slowly, and then after the climate change, the whole actually global warming thing, they started screaming about that. When the decade before, we were the biggest ice age, the big ice age, it's going to kill everybody, was going to hit. That's what everybody was afraid of, and they were going to paint the Arctic black. That was what the scientists came up with then, painting the Arctic black. And of course, the scientists, to combat climate change, have come up with more and more ridiculous ideas. We were afraid of, people dying then, and life dying, freezing to death. And it seems like the answer that we keep hearing, that they were pushing, was that there were too many people. We have to lower the population. Prince William went to Africa in 2018 and said that the population of the world is getting dangerously high, and we have to lower it. We're going to start with Africa because it's invading. It's the wildlife. The people were going to just overtake the wildlife there, which I think is probably more racist than whatever Meghan Markle claimed that somebody may have said, which was never quite defined and sounded like it was different. It was like something kind of that Harry heard. She claimed it was several conversations and all this talk. And then when he came in, he said, oh yeah, I heard them say something once. And he was the one that heard it. Because so it's baloney, and how much of a narcissist she proved to be, is because why didn't she in 2020 at that time say that what Prince William, whom she really wanted to marry, as rumors have said, she had his picture on the wall because she wanted to be queen. Why didn't she complain, ask yourself, about a real statement that was plastered all over the news, but everybody forgot about? But you can find many, many articles on the web about it, about essentially how racist this was. How we're going to start with Africa because Africa's population is rising so quickly. And the thing that we know why it bothered him so much was because they own land. They own huge amounts of land in Africa where they can go and they can watch the giraffes and the zebras and the lions eating the zebras and the boas eating the wildebeest and whatever. They like to go down there and watch this. And the Queen has been to Africa more times than any other continent because they own the best real estate all over the world. And Africa is one of their favorite places of all. So the fact that he said that he's so concerned about, let's say, Black people, too many Black people in Africa, which You would expect that there would, who cares? It's not your, oh, wait a minute, you do own land there. I say it's not your continent, it's not your country. You do own big swaths of land there. So I have a big problem with that. And I'd say I would ask for an apology. I'd like to see an apology, but those would be only words. Why you would write a speech, fly to Africa, and think about what you're going to say and impassionately say that to the people, because this was so important, is something that you really, really believe, and that your mother, whom your father demonized, and you wonder why she had a you might have wondered why that he might have been difficult to live with. The father might have been very difficult to live with, that he might have been difficult towards her. There's more going on, and maybe he treated her like she didn't exist and she wasn't a human being. I don't question that she was ill-treated and why she may have gone off, and because he was sleeping with somebody else, and so she went off. No problem. But he took the mother died, so he took the father's position. I am hoping that when he becomes king, he says, look, I had to take that side. I had to take the globalist side. I had to take the climate change side. Because if I didn't, my father would never entrust me to be king. Now, this is what I hope is going to happen. Would never trust me to be king. So I had to do this. I had to say this. I'm sorry. But I did this so I could get into this position, so I can fight against the globalists. And I know the structure because my grandfather built this organization. And my father we know he's the one because he announced the great R, by the way, not the Bond villain there. What's his face? Schwab. And the only way I could do it is to keep quiet so I could dismantle it from behind. And I had to pretend, because his wife is such a wonderful person, and he seemed like the golden boy. He just seemed like the hope of hopes. I'm hoping this is the case. Of course, I'm hoping I'm not letting the cat out of the bag, and that there is something that is redeemable about him, though he did say that to make us feel all guilty about what's going to happen to the climate, or to the climate, to the environment. As you know, the Biden administration, it was released that the number one priority of the Biden administration was the climate. Number two was green energy. And at the bottom was human beings. The human beings at the bottom. So that's your last administration. And I don't think cackling Kamala was going to be helpful in that regard, that she was going to be better in that regard, or was somebody else going to run the show? I think someone else would have run the show. I don't know who, I don't know what. Could be a computer. We have no idea the way AI is working. We have no idea. But he said to his son, and of course this was passed on to little children in schools all over the world, that infused fear, not just fear and hatred for the adults that destroyed the planet. That it was the adults that came before it. Not only would they hate their family, their grandparents, their family and ancestors before them, hate all of them for killing the planet, but that they were afraid. They were deathly afraid. You wonder what is spiraling the youth out of control? Is this idea that it's out of our hands, that someone else is destroying the planet, and there's nothing we can do. It wasn't our fault, because it wasn't any of our faults. If the planet was being destroyed by carbon emissions, it would be huge corporations. But the huge corporations are being held accountable for nothing. The people who run that big group that begins with a W and ends with an F, over in Europe, they're the ones who own all these companies. And they're the ones who have been taxing us and putting fear into us and guilt into us. And we know this is a lie. So many of us know world history, despite maybe because we learned it at some point. And then we learned more of it because we knew we were being lied to. We knew that that for 250 million years, the dinosaurs roamed the planet and the plants grew big. Because why? There was 5 to 15 times more carbon in the air. There were no ice caps. So the plants grew big. Plants need less water if there's the more carbon there is in the air. Plants love it. They, excuse the expression, eat it up. Literally, they need sunlight and they need carbon to grow and water, but sunlight and carbon, which kicks off photosynthesis, which creates chlorophyll, is what makes the plant green and makes the whole planet green. So you have no ice caps, 5 to 15% more carbon than we do today. So many plants that the herbivores had so much to eat, they grew huge. And the carnivores had so much to eat because the herbivores were huge. And that lasted 250 million years until a comet hit the Earth and kicked off an ice age. Oh, and you had the volcanoes spitting off all that carbon monoxide, and we have volcanoes going off under the water all the time. We don't know that they're there until we see pumice rising to the surface. You know, unless you fly over and you see the pumice, you don't know that there are undersea volcanoes, which, if there's warming, I don't think there's anything we can do about an undersea volcano. Sorry, there isn't. And there's one off the coast of Antarctica. I heard a geologist speaking about, I was watching this production about, and this was before the whole climate thing, the whole global warming scare. This was recorded, I believe, in the 80s. He had a hairdo kind of like that guy from ELO, you know, that group, the one who plays the electric piano, if they even still have electric pianos today. He was talking about, you know, because I was about how the Niagara Falls was formed, you know, the whole geological thing, and what happened with the Ice Age and forming it, and why it looks like it is today. So it was a whole science thing, you know, it was academic, you know. And he goes, do you know that we're still in an ice age? What the F? We're still in an ice age? This guy with the PhD in geology and the science thing must be mad. I keep trying to find that, you know, on the web. I can't find it anymore, by the way. He goes, yes, until Greenland and Antarctica melt, we'll be out of an ice age. Because before, see, the Earth didn't have ice caps. We live in an icebox planet now. It didn't used to be that way. We had the dinosaurs, and then the comet hit. We went into an ice age, and then it melted again. And then there was no more ice box. It was no more at all. Everything completely melted. It warmed up for another 100 million or so years. Eventually, it got colder. This is not normal for the planet. This is not normal for life. Life can exist without it. We have an equator. And if being really hot is really bad, then the hot places on Earth would be completely dried up. I mean, there would be something wrong about heat, but somehow the equator, you got the whole tropical things. That's where all the rich people go on vacation. And it's summer there and really hot all the time because it's at the equator. It kind of doesn't make sense. It seems like the old way of thinking, the reason why, let's see, the idea of hell actually was frozen. Our idea of hell wasn't hot because heat equated to love and warmth and life. And remember, they say it's as cold as hell. That used to be an expression. So that the church used to equate hell with being frozen because that's death. That's complete death. There is no life when things are frozen over. And warmth is equated to life, love. So it's the absolute opposite. So if you want more cold, then you want more death. And if it's going to warm up a degree in 100 years, really? I mean, it's that they can't predict the weather from moment to moment, yet it's going to be a degree warmer in 100 years. I don't flip the care. I wish the Earth, supposedly the Earth is actually tipping. The poles are changing. And I have always wanted where I live to flip. So I'm down closer to the equator. That's what I've wanted. I've been hoping that forever because I hate the cold, and cold costs money, and the cold kills. And that's where during the winter, people get sick more because we're shut inside. So if you create a situation, let's say like putting everyone in prison, like locking everyone down and making everyone stay inside, that's where you breathe the stale air, and you're more likely to catch things from people when everyone is locked inside and not outside breathing fresh air. And when things like that happen, then you're going to have things delivered to you kind of like by drone. And what's that saying? You own nothing and be happy. And things can be delivered to you by drone. And there was a test pilot for that possibly happening where people needed to have things delivered to them. And if you own nothing, nobody owns nothing, then who owns everything? Somebody does, because you don't own it and somebody else is in charge of it. And who would that group possibly be? And who belongs to that big group? I wonder. And during that time, people like Billy made a lot of money, like $30 to $40 billion. Because what did it say in this little thing? This little clip said that he wants to turn towards caring about poverty and about disease. We've known that. We've known he cared very much about disease, because he's been into finding fixes for these diseases and testing them on little children in like India and Africa, different countries, like orphans, they don't have parents that'll say, what happened to my child? They were alive yesterday, so there's a lot of money and different, putting these medical interventions into flying things that bite people. I know it sounds like a conspiracy, but it isn't. It's reality. And saying, no, you can't leave your homes, or you lose your job, or you'll be ostracized, or you'll be put in concentration camps, or you'll be marked, or you'll not get an operation or be treated at the hospital unless you get this medical intervention that somebody is promoting and making lots of money on. And then, of course, the person that's delivering all this stuff, when all the other little mom and pop businesses closed. Why would you want mom and pop businesses closing? Why would you want that to happen? If you wanted to own everything, if you were somebody who was, gee whiz, I don't have enough. I got a crown, I got a palace, I own land all over the world, but I want more. I want more. I want to control the world, because I've been living in a golden cage for so long. Let's see, who I might be talking about, someone else. You see, that kind of drives you crazy in a way. Is it that you're really in a cage? And you say things like, of this person with the crown. Many years ago, about 20 years ago, that the human population is raising so high, it's reaching plague proportions. Isn't that interesting? The human beings like vermin out there, the little people, the people who are below the underclass, because there's only one that's of the kind of class that this particular person is. There's only one of you that's as big as you are and as wealthy as you are. Everyone is below you. They're just, they're the kind of like bugs or fleas on bugs. In fact, maybe make them eat bugs, and that's something else this Billy here is into. Save the planet, make people eat bugs, make people eat what they are, because they really are bugs, and bugs are equated with disease, plagues, like the plagues of Egypt. Bugs are eating the plants. That's interesting. Bugs are eating the plants, but we can't eat the plants. We are to eat the bugs. See how plague proportions, that human beings are reaching plague proportions, just to use that terminology. Interesting, because his father said, and it's on record, it's totally true, the one who started the whole close the farms, take back the land, make it go wild, the farms that grow food for the people. He said, I want to come back as a virus and kill off most of the planet. And then his son, that's my little doggy, then his son says that the human population is rising so much that it's reaching plague proportions, because there's just too many icky people out there. Yet, you invite all your wealthy friends, which I've lost my respect for Mick Jagger, as all the respect I had for him and his lifestyle, that they went to, of all places, Versailles, and all the big superstars and wealthy people, and they had Blue Lobster flown in on petroleum jets. The Versailles. Do you know anything with the story about Versailles in France, in Paris, where the kings of France lived? Louis XIV built it. He was the excess king, and he was the longest reigning monarch ever. I think he died at 94. He reigned for 74 years. I forget what he died of. He died of a million awful things. But it's those walls are more gold than Buckingham Palace. So no, but it's the British monarchy owns enough palaces and enough castles and enough real estate all over the world. But just check the way the inside of that place looks. And so that's remember the particular king, was it the 16th, Louis the 16th? He was married to Marie Antoinette, and there was a revolution. And supposedly she said, the peasants are revolting. And she said, let them eat cake, so they wanted bread. And of course, the whole family was decapitated. And because of the excesses, and so they have a big feast in there, the people, as one of their events about climate change, and having all this fancy food flown from around the world to get to all the wealthiest people in the world, so they can sit there and eat to excess, to tell us, basically, telling us that it's basically our fault, that we are guilty. We only buy and we only live according to what you tell us. This is what you sell us, what's available, what we can afford to buy, is that we were too poor to buy whatever, but you have lived like this and have flown on these jets, and all your cars and all your homes are being run by petroleum and carbon, and and how do you think your lawns that go on forever, how do you think they're cut? Do you think they go out there with the scissors and cut, or they have a push mower like I do that uses no gas, just one of those hand push? Do you think or do you think that petroleum is running the whole show for all you people? No, it's our fault. It's our fault that we are poor. Yet, even if we were rich like you, we'd be using more. We'd be expelling more. We'd be creating more waste. What are you talking about? And the farts of the cows. What kind of bullshit is this methane bullshit? When methane hits the air, it turns into water and carbon. Water and carbon, excellent for the plants. Everything comes out of the ass of a cow is organic. That's what organic is. That's what you put in the soil to grow all this organic stuff that's healthy, that's not fossil fuel based petroleum fertilizer. That's what it is. What do you think? What kind of farts do you think the dinosaurs did? And the planet was doing so well. What kind of farts can you imagine the dinosaurs did? And the earth didn't blow up. It didn't go, everything died, or mostly everything died, but that's when a meteor hit it. Nobody can control that. Nobody on earth, no poor person who has no control, lives by your whims, has to buy what you tell us to buy, can only afford what you allow us to afford. However you raise and lower the prices, what you make affordable, what you sell to us by ads. It's you. It's all freaking you. I mean, what do you think? What do you think? It was the ice. It was it was us. The fact that we would eventually exist that made the meteor hit, that created the ice age. Oh, but you love the cold. You love the cold. I forgot about that. You love it. So that was a good thing when the meteor hit, right? The only thing that was life, carbon and sunlight, and you wanted to block out the sun, which we know you've been doing. Oh, bullshit on that. We know you've been doing that. I've seen the skies. Oh my God. And then you said it's a conspiracy, and then you announce that you're going to do it. Of course you've been doing it. You've been screwing around with our lives, putting us in fear. It's always fear. It's always fear of something. Wars were fear. World wars were fear. World War I, some prince or some duke got shot. One of the big fancy people was killed. And so the whole world went into a war, and was it 17 million people of us little people died? Couldn't you say, you know what, let's go after the person that shot him. Let's hold that person accountable. The end. No, you made us all die. It's always putting us in fear, killing us off, making us die. And then you let that one off. That one of the people who belonged to that group, it was a woman, I forget her name. I was shocked when I heard it, but she said that the problem is with world population is we used to have world wars. We don't have big wars that kill off huge amounts of people anymore. Oh, what a freaking shame. And then what we went through, it was the little people that suffered the most during these world wars. And then, the ice age is coming. The ice, oh my God, we've got the ice age, the acid rain, the ice age, the hole in the ozone layer. I'm sure there's more that I'm not thinking. It's always something. The nuclear bomb, Russia's going to blow us all up. Hide under your desk, because that will save you from radiation. Oh my God. Oh my God. And it's all our fault. But you got us to believe that this one was our fault. I know it wasn't our fault. It was never our fault. Bullshit that was our fault. I mean, don't tell a person who has flipping nothing. My electricity, the electricity in my state is twice as much or 2.5 times as much as anywhere in the country, because the whole state runs on natural gas, and they haven't fixed any of the infrastructure yet. Everything has to go to solar panels and windmills, and but it's like, wait a second, we have to do electricity, and everything has to be electric by 2030, because it's like electric by 20. Well, wait. Electricity. How is electricity made? Oh, wait, the natural gas, because you're completely dependent on natural gas that you're getting from Canada and other pipelines. That's why it's so expensive. But wait. Natural gas. What is that? Fossil fuel? Is that fossil? Is that why they're stopping gas, homes with gas and gas powered stoves, because that's a fossil fuel. So basically if you convert it into electricity, you have a middleman instead of like you people who pump the gas, and then you've got the whole gas company that brings the gas directly to the house and then you burn it, or brings the oil directly to the house and then you burn it direct. You have a middleman because you have to burn coal or natural gas to create electricity. So they get to make money, and then you get to tax them too. You get to put a tax on that. And then you get to clock how much electricity that we use. And so everything is more expensive. And so it's impossible to live. It is impossible to live. And you are not going to tell me that Trump is responsible for the shutdown, because he flippin' isn't, because they have to vote on the money. He cannot spend, otherwise he would be king. He cannot just take the money and then say, no, that's it. We're just going to turn this on. Look, if you want that bill passed, you have to pass the bill. And there's 5 Democrats that need to pass the bill. The Democrats are holding out. This is absolute bullshit. So if you want, if it's Trump that's not letting this bill pass, when the bill has to be voted on, because that's the law, if you want him just to sign the bill, I don't know how you want this to work. Do you want him to just sign the bill? Or do you want him to just tap the funds and to open up the government? And then you can call him king and a dictator. See, we told you he was Adolf. But then again, you people, there's a whole freaking wing that's broken off of supposedly MAGA movement that is now on the side of the white supremacists and the freaking NAWZZEEES and the guy who loves Stalin. They're all together. It's like, wow, this is amazing, because this is amazing. And because it looks like all these people, I don't think ever freaking were Republican. I don't think they were. We know that the big loud witch never was. She was which she did the website Social Autopsy, where she wanted to dox children who say things online because they have to learn. And now she's saying that it's like she's under being forensically examined. Now she's the victim. It's like, you were the left of the left. You realized that your website wasn't making any money. You'd announced you were on the MAGA train, yet your website, people could still go on your website. You were still doxing people. And you said you had converted and seen the light. Liar. I never believed you. I could tell. When I saw her for the first time, I said, this woman is a mad woman. She's a narcissist and she's a liar. And I've been saying since the beginning of this channel that I saw through her, just like I saw through sparkling Meghan Markle right from the beginning. She was the fakest faker that ever faked a fake. They're all the same. They're like, these narcissists. I'm gonna tell you, like Tucker Carlson, he used to be on the left too. He's always on the left. He's still on the left. It's whoever pays him. Hey, if his father was in the CIA, and first I didn't know he was in the CIA until he died. And before that, he admitted, oh yeah, my father's in the CIA. And who revealed that his father was in the CIA? Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes, who's now friends with Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson and Candace got together and complained about Nick Fuentes being a gay guy in the basement. And then Nick Fuentes complained about the two of them. And then they all got together somehow. And he complained about Candace, that he, like Erika Kirk, married famous political guys with lots and lots of money. Candace's husband has $240 million. His father is a lord and has billions of dollars that he's ready to inherit, except he has different political views than the father. Like, he's pro-Palestinian and the father isn't. And supposedly Candace is Catholic now, Christian, but she's got the cross in back there. But I've never heard her say a damn Christian thing ever, once, ever, or say even the word pray. Never, ever. It's just anger. Like, I don't get on and get pissed and angry like this all the time. I do not. It takes a lot. Every single day she's pissed and angry, and she has always been on the left. She's parroting the left's cause. Fuentes says he loves Stalin. He loves all the Hitler's henchmen. So they're all moving, and so Tucker is pro-Sharia when he was anti-Sharia. Now he's pro-Sharia. Now Sharia is absolutely, cutting the hands off of somebody who steals. Oh, it works. There's no rape in those countries. There's no in those countries. Those countries where the woman has to, if she is assaulted, you're not supposed to say the word. If she is assaulted, she needs 4 men to speak for her honor. Otherwise, she gets killed. You mean those laws? So if you are assaulted as a woman in those countries, you don't say anything. Because if you speak, because you say this man did this to you, and nobody proves that you weren't asking for it, that means you've spoken against, and that's a big sin. Or you're whipped. They put white, make you wear white, and then you're whipped in public in front of like a whole stadium of people until they see the blood coming out of your skin. Or Surah 434, where a husband can, if a woman is, you think your wife has an independent thought, that you banish her to beds apart, and then you beat her into submission. This is a great system for you, Tucker. Seriously, during the war, it was during the war that he started to change. The Iran war, he claimed that Trump was going to get us into war. It's always a one and done with Trump. He doesn't want to go to war. He struck the nuclear facility because they were reaching 60% enriched uranium. When if it is for fuel, it's only 3%. Clearly, they were building a nuclear weapon. Tucker knows this. And if you start watching Democrat left-leaning channels, they're parroting the same things Tucker is. Now Tucker is the head of TPUSA. Essentially, he's the big spokesperson of TPUSA. This is crazy making what's happening, but they're all together. They're all, even Neil Oliver, who is the voice of the people, Vox Populi. During the plague, when we were all locked down, he's aligned himself with Candace. I unsubscribed to him. I just unsubscribed to him because it's like you're showing who you are. These people are showing who they are. It's like, are you trying to push Trump for Trump or the MAGA movement to continue to be elected? Are you trying to get enough, because you had so much power and you deceived millions, and you were like Owens? The reason why she was hired everywhere is because she was a sensation. Whoever in the media, whoever was behind her, put her out there. Like whatever she got on, and she made some kind of TikTok video, and oh my God, it's somebody who's not white, and the MAGA movement, we have to prove that Trump isn't a racist, when there's enough out there to prove that he's not a racist. We need her on our side. Get her out there. You couldn't see through this woman that she was a grifter. I saw this. I could see this. It was obvious that this, and so let's hire her. Why? Everybody wants to see her. We'll make money if we have her on our side, or in our channel or company or news outlet. we'll make more money because it'll draw more people to us. And so so people saw dollar signs and getting more and more popular. And they couldn't see through her. They didn't realize that she was like, look, can't you see through her? She's a nutcase. She's an absolute nutcase. I mean, that she's aligned herself, and Kanye's a genius. He's a genius. With the whole thing about the Adolf loving thing and the whole stuff about, she's saying that she understands why what? You have an idea how insane this is? What, and the left has been saying that Trump is Adolf, and he's the grand exalted wizard of the KKK, and he's all these things. Yet at the same time, now the entire left is just embracing these people who actually are parroting this and for this. This is who do you think is behind them? These people are the left. They've always been the left. Fuentes, is part Mexican, and he wants to rid the country of people who are not white. Well, aren't Mexican people now considered, well, they used to be considered white. 1980, they were considered not white. And he is part Italian, but it's Northern Italian who, Southern Italian. It would look at me and say that I was Black, of course, because the North thinks differently than the South. They can, whatever. I don't want to get into it because I'm sure there's people in the North that don't think that way, but he is of the few. You see, the North, let a lot of people in the North that have held on to fascism. Mussolini was from basically one of the towns near the border of Italy, near Austria. So who was born in Austria, don't you? So you when you think about it, you say, Fuentes keeps talking about him. He's part Irish, part Mexican, which means, I don't know about this whole ridding the country of people who are not white, because maybe you could be considered not white, but the Italian side, it's the Northern Italian side. It's the fascist Italian side, or those in the North that still kind of like fascism. And supposedly in Rome, there's I guess the people who run the cities are still fascists. Not all the cities, but definitely Rome. This is what Nick Fuentes is holding on to. He's a freaking fascist. So for MAGA to survive, they'll probably be pushed because there's so few left that are saying, wait a second, what the heck has happened? The biggest voices with the millions of followers have moved to the white supremacist fascist and embracing communists, outright communists who've killed more people than between fascism and communists. We're talking at least 150 million people in the 20th century alone. So basically, you're going to end up pushing MAGA to embrace you, or you, Tucker and Owens, or Tucker and Fuentes, they're planning to run for president. Is that what this is? We've got influencers that have gotten so big. I wasn't planning to talk about this, but led into it because I've been thinking about this so much. And this is just all over YouTube and social media. That's all anybody is talking about. And don't you realize what's really happening? You don't know what Trump is doing. You don't know what he's actually doing. You don't know the evidence that they're trying to gather and release from the Epstein thing. You don't know the peace deals you don't know that this whole thing, it is the Democrats who want to continue to fund PBS, which is a communist propaganda outlet. Things around the world like pushing LGBT and feminism, whatever, around the world. I mean, these things that have nothing to do with Americans, the America First anything. And of course, paying for healthcare for people who are not Americans, because 20 million were let in under Biden. 20 million were let in under Biden. You know, and I can't afford to keep a roof over my head, and I will lose my, if a miracle doesn't happen by June, I'm going to lose the roof over my head. My dog has a malignant tumor on him. He's going to die. You know, Andy is dying. It's like, I can't get him treatment. I can't even bring him to the vet. I mean, it's like, you know, I'm here breaking. I'm breaking, and I do not know what to do. And it's like my town is, I'm sure maybe your town, my state has got the money, but they're withholding it, saying, oh, no, we don't have the money. Oh, it's entirely Trump's fault. It's entirely Trump's fault. And they've got illegal immigrants all over living in, and they're paying 4 times their rent. 4 times. I couldn't afford the regular rent to live in the city I live in. Taxes are a lot cheaper. If you could just pay the taxes, that's cheaper than rent. They're paying 4 times. Debit cards with $10,000 in them. You know, SNAP benefits, they fill them $15,000. I don't have food. I don't have food. I mean, it's like absolutely nothing. And it's like, well, why don't I don't even want to get into, and I'm trying my best to work as hard as I possibly can. You have no idea how hard it is. Oh, maybe you do. Maybe you do. But it's like, it's unbelievable. I'm doing everything I possibly can, and I can't do it. And do I have a little help? No help. No help for you. No help. So this whole climate shit, has raised the prices on everything, including food, including the price of food. And most, was it 59% are illegal aliens on SNAP? 59%. And even legal immigrants, people who are legally here, is the second amount, just below that. Disabled people only 10% of that are disabled people. Disabled people, very little, right at the bottom. American citizens, right at the bottom. I forget the actual numbers, but it's like, you know, 15. It's like, it's unbelievable. When I saw the chart, I'm going, are you kidding? Even the legal immigrants are getting all the benefits, and like, I just need a few, like, if I can get a few $100s more a month, I can live, not wealthy, but not wealthy. And it will never claim to be wealthy. You know, I eat peanuts most of the day, and then I saute a vegetable at night. I mean, it's like, just to have a roof over my head. And if I had a little bit to bring the dog to the vet, because he's all I have. He's all the flip I have. And it's like, you've made this climate shit has made everything so expensive. It's unlivable. And the fear they put into us, oh my God, we're going to have to eat bugs. Oh my God, I can't afford to put solar panels up. I can't afford to put a windmill up. I can't afford to live. Oh my God, they're going to own nothing and be happy. They're going to own everything. And we're going to be put into pods. I mean, all this stuff, all these ideas that put fear into us, that creates cancer, and these medical interventions that we all had to take. Otherwise, we wouldn't be free. We wouldn't be free. So why would he stay in climate anything when he's making money on all these other things? He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. Notice he said, do you notice he said in that, when we have to worry about disease? Because he's into disease now. He's into fighting disease. He's been doing that for a long time. He doesn't need the climate change. He's making more money on, and he goes, and the other thing is poverty in the world. How do you fight poverty, Mr. W, economic F? What is it? Oh, nothing and be happy. We're going to take care of all the poor people by taking everything. Don't buy a condominium, by the way, because you only own air. You pay more money than a flipping house, then you pay a condo fee, and you have to pay real estate taxes. The cheapest condo right now, they're going to go up to $1 million where I live, $675,000. If you can afford that, the condo fee with real estate taxes is $46,000 a year. And guess what? They could throw you out anytime they want to. It's a high-rise condo. There is no grass, no yard, no nothing. And even if you had a little grass around it, little bushes here and there, you can't do anything. They tell you what it's going to look like and what you're going to have. That's like freaking communism. And they'll throw you out anytime. You don't own anything. You own the air between the walls. Pushing people are like, oh, it's great, a condo. I don't have to mow anymore. Every time you buy a condo, it's owned by these big companies. You're talking about BlackRock. These big companies that are a part of that group that own everything. That's how you're giving away your property to these big companies that belong to this thing that are buying up all the land. Never buy a flipping condo. Stay into your house until you die. Die there. Let them find you sitting up in a chair feeding your cat, okay? Stay in your house. And it's cheaper too. Who cares? Just who cares about, don't like let the lawn grow. You know what I mean? It's just like throw rocks out there. No more lawn. You don't have, throw rocks out there, pave it over, paint it green. There you go. If that's what you care about, you know, oh, well, I don't have to worry about the lawn. Oh, I have to worry about fixing my house. Well, if you pay $46,000 a year in fee, I mean, to own the condo after you've purchased it, there's the money that you'd have to fix up your house. I mean, there's no perk. There's absolutely no perk in owning a condo. I no, you're just giving, it's just more and more and more real estate being given over to these big companies. That's the beginning. The condo, that's the beginning of owning nothing and being happy. And paying and paying and paying. You own nothing. We'll just deliver things with drones. We'll just drop it off and you're just basically renting it. But we own everything. You see, this is it. This is how you end poverty. And another way to end poverty, don't worry about climate change. It's only going to hurt, guilt trip, the poorest countries in the world. It's climate change is going to only hurt the poorest people of the, oh my God. He's telling us not to worry about it because nothing we can do about it. It's only going to hurt the poorest. Well, you know, you've got enough money. Why don't you take care of that? Why don't you take care of that? It's cheaper to go to that country and actually help the people in that country than the big plan that you and your buddies in that group have is to move all the people from these countries into the West. That way, basically, the West kills off itself because everybody's fighting with each other in the streets, and then you have less population. Then you bring the hammer down. That's what they do in communism. They let off the gangs that torture the people, and the people either end up committing suicide. You know, you beat them up, kill them. The gangs go around. This controlling comes down, and then people end up committing suicide, and so you lower the population. You know, everything is just crazy, and then you bring down the hammer, and then you kill off those gangs, just like what they did in who did that? Well, what country did that? Helped with the the Iranian Revolution. The communists helped the Iranians, the Islamists, take over from the Shah. And what they did was they ended up killing the communists, though the communists helped them because the communists thought they were going to take over. Ha, ha, ha. They weren't friends. It's like games. That's the games that they play. And so they get killed off. But that's what the communists do anyway. They use somebody else and then they kill them off. And anyway, it's these are the clips I was going to show you. I'm sorry, but what he's talking about, his words are very veiled and very guilt-ridden. Either you're killing the planet or you're killing people. He realizes that maybe we care about people, saving the people. Then he throws it in. All right, maybe we can't do it. It's not. You can't really fix the planet. I get it, but it's only going to hurt the poorest of countries. The poorest of people are going to suffer, but that's okay. Don't you worry about it. You know what? There's nothing we can do. There used to be a thing called charity. People used to have enough money, even the people who were considered poor. I'm below poverty line, by the way, way below poverty line. It's like there's poverty line and there's way below poverty line. That's where I am, way below. And there's nothing in the coffers of the state. No, you don't qualify. I don't qualify. I just need like a few $100s a month. If I add just a few hundred more, I could survive. Anything really, woman beaten her whole life, abused, sexual assault, all this stuff, poverty. Oh, you didn't go to college and you're too stupid to survive. You don't deserve it. Doesn't matter if you work like a dog. You don't survive. There's nothing. Oh, wait. And too white. Oh, my God. Should I go across the border and come back again? Because my mix is like, what I mix, the DNA, I'll just say I came from some other country down there. Because, if you took my DNA, no, it's what you look like. It's what you look like. That's how we judge. Where you were born, you're an American citizen. You are privileged to die like the rest of the Americans who are poor, like the rest of us. We're all in this together. Die on the streets of America if you can't survive. You see, there's nothing in the coffers. It's like my state has $8 billion, and the governor says that there's nothing. Though they pulled out $240 billion when COVID hit because it's there for emergencies. So you can't pull out enough for this little state. This is a fairly little state to cover. It would be $240 million. And come to find out, 10% are considered impoverished in this state, 10%. And 15% of the population are getting food stamps. So that's half as much because they put more on it during COVID, except they didn't take us. So there's half more, there's 50% more that aren't even poverty level that are getting food stamps, which is weird, but it doesn't make any difference. You can take out of 8 billion, 240 million out. So people don't starve. But you see, you're a Democrat and you gotta make Trump look bad, though he has no authority and he can't pass the funding bill, and he can't take money and just put it into SNAP. It has to be voted on. If he did that, you would say that he was a dictator. He was an authoritarian. Who does he think he's a king? Are you kidding? He cannot do that. He cannot do that. And the little that he has would only fund about 2 or 3 weeks. The little that we have, and that's there just in case there's a natural disaster. If a natural disaster hits, money has to be there because people will need to eat, because they will have lost everything. Kind of like, remember under Biden, when the millions of people were coming over the border, they said, that's okay. How are you going to pay for all these people? Oh, that's okay. We can take it from FEMA, which is disaster relief. The money's got to be there for disaster relief. And then when the hurricanes hit and they didn't have the money and it ran out, they only had $700 to give to people who lost everything. One payment of $700. Oh, we don't have any more money. FEMA ran out. You don't have any more money. Oh no, we didn't pay for the people coming over the border from FEMA. That's a lot, and then you've got the dual clips of Karine Jean-Pierre saying, and Mayorkas saying, we took it out of FEMA. And then the clip later, 4 years later, oh, no, we didn't take it out of FEMA. That's a lie. It just ran out. And people of Maui, the indigenous people of Maui, those indigenous people who the Democrats supposedly care about, they gave them one payment of $750 after they lost everything. And Biden didn't know what he was doing, whatever. The administration, I should say, wasn't going to give them that unless another $100 billion went over to the Ukraine. But that had to happen first. What the frick are you doing? It's like, what? These aren't even white people. The white people that you hate, these are the indigenous people that you're supposed to love. Who's the people who this used to be their own land, like the indigenous people of America. Hawaii used to be their land, and you're just going to give them $750. And we won't get into the conspiracies around that one, which we're not theories. We're just going to say theories of what happened, because I didn't want to say conspiracy because it looks really bad. It's a lie. It's everything is a lie. And it's like, why the influencers aren't out there. There aren't enough. And even the ones that are trying to speak the truth are still talking about Candace and Nick Fuentes and Tucker and everybody else that's going on that bandwagon. And the left, the channels on the left that are parroting lies and are just giving you clips that aren't even the full clips. Oh, you see Trump, he's sitting at the table with Gates and that android from Facebook. He's in with them. He also sits at the table with Putin and Xi and whoever dictate. She's got the Uyghurs, the Muslim Uyghurs who are slave labor and child slave labor, all sorts of bad things. But the pandas, he did a great job with the pandas. We have to commend him for that. And everything's running very orderly. You got to commend him for being able to run that whole country. As keep all those fires going, or no fires going. And that he's still the leader. That takes a lot. He's a very smart man. Putin, remember how bad Putin was or is? I have no idea if he's good or bad anymore. What do they say on the left now? Is he good or bad? I have no idea, because it's like the left is fusing in with part of the right, or huge part of the right. But those people on the right, those loud voices, Tucker used to work for these basically left-wing news outlets, and his father was part of the CIA. And then when he got out of the high school, he went down to Nicaragua during the whole communist takeover. The CIA was down there, and he was like, why would you want to be down there during a war and fighting with the rebel? Like, there's something really wrong with him from the get-go. But he has a way of presenting himself as the good guy and speaking for the American people and speaking for the underdog. And he used to speak against Sharia, and he used to be able to elucidate, you on all the points and how bad what's happening to the West and with the whole Sharia. Now Sharia is good. oh, believing in God is great, and that it's a great thing. It's like, wow. It's like, wow, everything, you know what, everything that, you know, I've been watching, listening to David Wood and Sam Shimon since the Jesus and Mohammed. They were on a show called Jesus versus Mohammed. Jesus always wins, by the way. Jesus always wins. Brilliant. I mean, the guy is hysterical. I mean, he's the one who put forward the Islamic dilemma first. Everything that we've learned, if you've lived and saw these terrorist attacks and all this, how bad it is. I'm not talking about all, but I'm saying even if you have 1% that wants to do this, and it is doing this, but is doing it according to, well, Christianity. No, Christians have done things. Christianity does not teach any of this shit. Any of the bad things that Christians have done, read Jesus. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. That's not the tenets of Christianity. It is the tenets of this particular ideology. It is. Not all who follow it are like that, want that, or do that. But if 1%, then you've got a problem. Yes, you've got a problem. But also upholding Adolf and his gang. All of them. We're talking from Fuentes, Candace, Tucker, all of them. And even the left, you know, what's her face? From the Young Turks. And she's Armenian. You know what the Young Turks did to the Armenians. And it's like she's a complete hypocrite. She's a complete two-faced hypocrite. She's turned her back on her people. The Young Turk, how could you possibly name your show The Young Turks as if that was a good thing? You know, they decapitated, they tortured, they crucified thousands and thousands and thousands of Armenians. What are you talking about? Anna Kasparian. Oh my God. She's very attractive though, by the way. And dyeing her hair blonde is just, it looks really good on her. You know, getting that, you never know, she's, because she claims she's not white. But, you look at her and say, hey, that blonde hair, it looks nice, though. It looks nice. We know. Don't worry. You're not white. I know you're not white. And sometimes she talks sense. Sometimes she sounds really, really good. And you see, some of these people, I told you, I warned you, be careful of the people who seem very, very intelligent, because they can say a lot of the right things and be, wow. But then there's one thing they'll tell you that's not true. And you will believe them, even if it's just one thing, one untruth. And you'll believe them because they're smart and everything else was true. It isn't that they've made a mistake. They're being deceitful, like Tucker. He knows exactly what Sharia is. He knows exactly. And remember, he's the one who proposed the replacement theory. Remember the theory we're not supposed to talk about? He's the one who, the left used to say, he's the one, he's a supremacist, blah, blah, blah. And he proposed the replacement theory, this crazy conspiracy theory, because he's so full of hate. And now he's completely, Sharia is great. It should be all over the West, because look how great those countries. That would be a terrible for the wounded, huh? All that order, and that there's no women being assaulted and no crime, because they, whatever. Or they dig, they find you commit adultery, they dig a pit and they put you in a white sack and they put you halfway up to the waist and they throw stones at you until the blood comes through the white sack and then you fall over. That is, you steal a potato because you're hungry. They cut your hand off. Yeah, Tucker. Yeah. And I remember it was Chuck Holton, who works for CBN. CBN, it's a subsidiary, kind of like The World with Chuck Holton. It's a good channel. He's a good guy. Sometimes what he says isn't right, but it's not intentionally incorrect, but there'll always be things that people say that are not correct because maybe they just don't have the information or they don't understand it, and later on they're corrected. And sometimes it's the people who are intentionally deceitful, and you realize they're being deceitful, and you right away Candace Owens was being deceitful. The fact that she was still running her social autopsy, which was just to devise the whole thing, was evil, but she thought she was going to make lots of money on it. And when she realized she wasn't making money on it, then she hooked onto MAGA. Oh yeah, that's right. They need somebody who's Black that will speak for Trump to show that he's not racist. So if I'm big enough and loud enough and put on a big show, she wanted to be an actress. Her main thing, she wanted to be an actress. I suppose Fuentes is right. You know, it's true. He said that Erika Kirk and her, you know, they married famous people and they wanted to be actresses and all that stuff. You know, and everybody's questioning, you know, there's like so much. We're looking at Erika Kirk, the whole thing, the way that everything that we saw unfold and her reaction to it was suspicious. And see, this is how Fuentes just spoke. He's right. And everybody said, wait a second. He's speaking the truth. We can agree. Can't agree with that other stuff, but everybody forgot all the other stuff he said. Even though he's still slipping in, I love Stalin. He's my hero. Oh yeah, he's a great guy. And Hitler and all he's got. Oh my God, the same. It's like, even though he's still saying it, he's slipping that in. But because he was saying what everybody was thinking when they were watching this unfold, there's something really wrong here. I mean, really, really wrong here with that reaction. And there just is. I have some theories that, you know, maybe we just don't understand, you know, it looks kind of mega churchy. Sorry, it looks very mega churchy. But evangelical, you'll see mega churches and evangelical movement is not about poverty, prosperity gospel, not about poverty. So I think if you look at it through a different lens, and TPUSA is basically a political movement, a political thing, pushing the kind of America, you know, that they, you know, foresee the way America, families, and so it wasn't primarily a religious thing, though he was religious, but it wasn't primarily religious. So maybe that's why, you know, it looks like, oh gee, there's too much money here. But I think you have to see it for what it is and not say it should be something else. And maybe, you know, I'm thinking, is it possible that she learned how to be an actress? Maybe she wanted to be an actress, but maybe the way she got through it was to say, you know what, I have to, and she's not a good actress, I have to just, to get through it, I gotta pretend I'm putting on a show. I just pretend that you're acting, pretend that you're in front of an audience, and this is just a play. And the thing was, is this it? So I'm trying to figure out what we saw. And that's why Fuentes got so big. He just blew up because he basically laid out there. And then he called out Candace. And he's calling out Candace, and everybody loved him for that. But then you realize all of them got together because they were friends behind the scenes. He's calling out Candace on this, that he's the reasonable one. Oh, it's not Israel. Oh, then everybody moves towards his side. And then then Candace moves. They're all moved together. They're all were working together. There's no, even though they called each other out, they kind of like moved together. You know, he calls Erika, maybe Erika Kirk, since he called her out and said these things, bad things about her, like he said bad things about Candace, and he said bad things about Tucker, and Tucker said bad things about him. I mean, really bad things. And then now they're all friends. Maybe Erika will be friends with them too. And once that's the last piece of the puzzle, all of MAGA will move over to that side. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping the case is that Erika maybe is saying, I can't get through this. I cannot deal with this. How do I do it? Just pretend. And I hope this is the case and that she doesn't hear me and say, oh, that's a good idea. I think I'll do it. I hope that's not it. I hope, oh my God, that'd be terrible, because it's like I'm going, you got to like, what's going on here? You know, well, if I just pretend it's not quite, it's just a play. It's just a movie. And this is how I can get through it. And I'll do it to the best of my acting ability, as if it's just a play. And her acting ability is that, unfortunately, she's a very bad actress. If she was a good actress, we'd all say, we would even question, right? We wouldn't even question. Well, she's really faking it. She didn't love Charlie. She's really faking it. Well, because we can see it because of the way she's acting, but she's a really, really, really bad actress. So it's like, but if she was a really, really good actress, nobody would question anything. Ask yourself that. She was a really good actress. She could be doing the exact same thing and nobody would question a thing, because she was a really good actress. But she's a really bad actress. Okay. And maybe it's because she's looking at this as a play, like it's not even real. The only way to get through it is to pretend that it is a play and to act. And unfortunately, she's a bad actress. But she was a good actress. You would never know it. And she could be deceiving all of you. And everybody would say, oh, yeah. Nobody would think twice. Nobody would think twice. How about this? I could have just solved the problem there. Okay? I could have solved the problem with that. And I don't think anybody will ever know that I did. That's a possibility. But if I had a big enough platform like Nick Fuentes, I would be a genius. And everybody would be flocking to me for that one observation. I would have destroyed his argument. But nobody's going to hear it. Nobody is going to hear it. Anyway, except for the few good people that are here. I doubt anybody's going to hear it. For the good souls that do listen to me, I doubt anybody's going to hear this. But as far as Billy G is concerned, I think we have to be careful, because this is when he says things like poverty. How do they solve poverty? Move everybody to the West. We need to move more people to the West. We need to take more land away, because this is how he's been trying to fix poverty by feeding us bugs and by taking our property, owning nothing and being happy. You see, this is the push. They're still pushing for the same ends. Climate change was just words. It was meaningless. The ends are the same, is to take everything, to impoverish everyone, to put everyone in the position of poverty. Well, they have to sell everything, give up everything. That's what it is. It's the same end. Because he's still parroting the same things. He's still pushing medical interventions, because when he speaks about disease, oh, he cared. No, he doesn't care. It's the same thing. It's the exact. It's like a same shit, different day. You know, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. They're pushing towards it. Nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. They're still going to keep trying to take our stuff. He's going to solve hunger by growing more bugs. They're going to keep moving people to the West. And we're going to have to keep paying for it. And the population is going to lower because there's going to be less medical, less food, less housing, less everything. The idea is to shove us into little cubicle spaces where, and then of course maid will come in, oh, you're depressed, well, we have an answer for that. You don't want to live in this little what do they call it, tube, I forget what, a pod, this little pod. You don't like living like that? We can take care of that. You don't like eating bugs? Well, we can take care of that. We can help you out of this situation. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? It's the same. It's the same. Well, I'm sorry I got off on a couple subjects, but I still ended on the note that I wanted to end on. As far as Billy G, what are they doing? Has he changed? Nobody's seen any light. He has not seen any light. He's just seeing, the end, the goal is still the same. He's saying the same buzzwords, and he's going to continue through the same the same means, to get to that end. So God bless you and good night. And if you like this content, please like, please share, please subscribe. Liking, sharing, and subscribing helps promote the channel. It helps with the algorithms. I'm in the algorithm dead zone. Nobody's going to find me. If I can get monetized, then I get a little revenue from commercials. Unfortunately, when I first started this channel, I could have been monetized, but I thought to myself, my father was still alive, and I thought to myself, I wasn't interested in making money. I wanted to get the word out. It was really important to get the truth out, to get out there, inform people basically about communism and Antifa and Marxism, like really to inform people on the truth of all this. That's what I started this channel for. And of course, to dispel lies about Trump, because he wasn't Hitler or a white supremacist. But I decided at that time I could have been. If I did, my channel would have, it would have been pushed out there, because if YouTube makes money, then they push the videos out there. And I was much better, and I was much more, less worn out than I am now. So I thought a little quicker back then. And unfortunately, I didn't do that. So my channel would have grown to a place where, even though the algorithm law or the monetization laws changed, where you have to have thousands and thousands, I don't think 7,000 watch hours. Now it was 3,000. Now it's 7,000 watch hours a year to get monetized. I would probably have that now. If I just, but I thought to myself, I don't want to make people watch commercials. I want a really nice watch experience for people, so they don't have to. My channel will be free of commercials, and so they just watch the video and go on, not have all those interruptions. And I thought, yeah, wasn't there to make money. I was just like, just to get the truth out was the most important thing. And I thought, my channel's not gonna do that. And I didn't realize that of course they're not, your channel's going to be in the dead zone, because they're not going to make money on it. So that's why I am here where I am, because back then I didn't make the right choice on monetization. And it was much better and much more sparkly back then, by the way. So if I had monetization, if somehow just liking, sharing, subscribing, I understand that people out there don't have the money, especially now, to send any donation, which I'm totally open for that. Oh God, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. But if you can like, share, and subscribe to help me to move towards monetization, then you can get things like you can get money on ad revenue. You get a little paycheck every month on that. There's a donate button if somebody wants to donate $2 or $5 or $10 during a live stream. There's little things like that. Or join button if people want to join for $2.99 a month or about $1, whatever. All these things are added if you can get monetized. And I made that mistake. So a little thing like liking, sharing, subscribing really helps. But watching videos to the end to get those watch hours in, that's what moves you towards monetization. So the more people who like, share, subscribe, the more watch hours I'll have. And I'm trying to give you a variety of things here that makes your day and informs you, and really being honest. And I'm not here to make tons of money or to push ads in front of you, or you click on it and you say, I want to hear about this. Then you get this big long ad. They're already making money on memberships and ads, and then they give you another ad or several other ads where they tell you to buy this or that, or buy my merch and this and that. I'm not here to do that. I really just want to put out the truth and be as honest with you as possible, and also be here for you. You can talk to me. You can converse with me. I'm happy to answer any question that you want. I know a lot, and as far as education goes, I have learned a lot over the years that I've lived, a lot, and lived through a lot. And unfortunately, the teachers today, they're teaching communism. So pray that Mandami doesn't get elected, but it looks like they're throwing him under the bus, which may be scary, which means that Cuomo may have made a deal with the devil, which a D begins with Democrat Party. He may have made a deal. So maybe, what is it Obama said? Obama said this. He said, don't go towards all the way, don't go towards socialism, communism that quickly, because if you go down go down it too fast, people will notice. You have to do it incrementally, or else there'll be a pushback. So Mandami might be down the slope too fast, and so they're withholding. They want to withhold it just a little, making us think, oh, gee, we dodged a bullet there, not going to happen. Oh, boy, isn't that great? We got Cuomo. Oh, and he's not. And then he'll make incremental changes, little changes. It's kind of like when they took everything away during the Black Plague, and then they start giving it back to you. Oh, my God. Oh, it's lessened up just a little bit. We have a little bit more freedom. We don't have to wear our masks outside on the inside. Those little things, we think that to make us think that we actually have freedom, or they're giving us freedom. And this one's the good one. Oh, isn't that good? We got the good one. Because you take, oh my God, you either take it all away and you give it back a little bit at a time, or it goes down the slope a little at a time. That's what's really happening. So Cuomo wins, which looks like maybe because Hochul came out and said, you can't do this and you can't do that. What they're doing is making it look like they've saved you. In fact, the Democrat Party has saved you. So vote for the Democrat Party because they saved you from communism. Don't you understand what just happened? They saved you from full-on communism. They came in and saved the day. They're not that bad. Obama said you have to do it incrementally. He's a globalist. Globalism is worldwide communism. I'll leave you with that. God bless you. Pray for this country. Pray for each other. Pray for the world. Pray. And I'll pray for you anytime. You have a prayer intention? You want me to pray for something personal? Leave it in the comment section, and I'll pray for you. You got me. You look at my channel. I can pray for as many people as possible. My channel is that low, has that few subscribers. No, I would do it anyway. I would pray for you anyway, even if I had millions of subscribers. Don't worry about that. You can trust me. God bless you, and good night.